What's up, guys, and welcome back. Today I got Darran Petty, the one, the only. Hi, Darran.
Hi, mate. I wonder if there is. I wonder if there is other Darran Pettys in the world. Do you think?
It would be. Maybe someone has the same name as you, but doesn't mean they're the same as you.
You know what I heard? That everyone has an equal person in the world that's the same as them.
I heard that as well.
What's that called?
Long lost twin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to meet mine. What do you reckon yours would be called?
Harrison, but like.
Do you think yours would actually call Harrison? Look exactly like you.
Probably.
Do you reckon you'd just high five or something?
I think we'd just laugh at each other and smile.
For an hour.
And talk for like a whole year. It was like that. Just talk.
Wouldn't be a very good interview.
Nah, it wouldn't. Okay, so I've been at your film school for nearly a year now. I know a lot about you now, but there's a lot we don't know.
Yeah.
So the question that started off is, how long roughly have you been a filmmaker now?
I've been making films for about 5 years. I started making films for myself, for my Jiu-Jitsu Academy in Sandy Bay in 2014, I think. And the reason I started filmmaking is because when I was younger, in my teens, I used to love taking photos, and all my friends used to say to me, "Stop taking photos all the time." And I had a photo album. All my friends now ask if I have those photos because they're so cool. I'd love to just capture memories. I've been filmmaking for 5 years.
You like to capture the moment in the image, and that's what a lot of people like to do.
Yeah, image and moving image, which is the video.
One of the things in your past I want to ask you, what did you want to be before you became a filmmaker? Like, obviously you didn't want to become a filmmaker since you were a little kid. So what was the career that you wanted to take part in?
As a young person?
Yes.
Okay, that's a good question.
Okay.
Gee, no one's ever asked me that question. That's a really good interview question. Wow, let me think. What did I guess to answer that question would be to think about what I did in that time. What I used to do a lot of was actually, I've got one. Play basketball.
You want to be a basketballer?
I did want to be a basketball player.
I don't think anyone would guess that.
No one would guess that,
No.
would they?
No.
Not at all. No, it's something that I've sort of left in the past. I like to watch basketball now, but I don't play anymore. So as a young person, I would guess that I wanted to be a basketball player, but also I did want to be a policeman, or like a law of enforcing type of person. Yeah.
So not all the viewers would know your past, so can you just recap how your past is, because it is a very sad past.
So as a young person, my mum married my stepfather Mark, and he was an abusive alcoholic, and he took us to Darwin and terrorised us up there with domestic violence. We then escaped Mark and went all the way down the east coast of Australia trying to find refuge there, but ended up in Tasmania. We started out living down here at a place called Jira House. They helped us find a house, and then we thought we were free of Mark. Then he came and found us and tried to harm us. Then the police apprehended him, took him away, put him into jail, and then a few years later I was looking on the internet and it ended up that he had died in jail, so we were very relieved of that. And a little known fact, my name used to be Darran Osharenko.
Darran Osharenko.
Oh, yeah, Darran Osharenko.
Sounds Spanish.
Yeah, imagine Darran Osharenko films.
Nice.
That'd be, no.
So, you also were on the streets at 14. How's that?
It's pretty bad, and obviously my mother went through quite a traumatic experience herself. The social workers and police used to come to the house and tell me to calm down because I used to punch the walls a lot, and even to this day there's lots of holes in the walls in the house, and I never harmed my mum, but I used to get frustrated a lot because she didn't really know how to bring up children. I ended up moving out, I think I was your age, I was 14 years old, and off I was, and I was living from house to house and under beds and on couches and under couches and in garages and things like that, and I was actually using drugs and alcohol a lot. I first used LSD and marijuana at your age,
Yeah.
And that was a pretty traumatic experience.
So, do you have any advice for young viewers about that past, just to give them?
It's a very good question, Harrison. I do have some advice. My advice is this: follow your passion. And if you have a passion at 14 years old, don't wait till you're 20 years old to join university or join a course, or 18 or whatever the age may be. Don't wait till those ages to pursue those passions. Start now. By the time, Harrison, you get to college, you'll already have such a fantastic understanding of camera operation, editing, and everything to do with filmmaking. So that's my advice, is to, instead of using your time on drugs and alcohol, use your time on what things that you think you might like. And even if you don't end up doing all those things that you like I did basketball and I don't anymore. You know, try as many different things as you can, and then one day you'll find your passion. And even then, even through your later years, you can always change.
So obviously, you've done so many films, really. So what is your most favourite film that you've made so far?
My most favourite film? Wow, that's a really good question too. I don't think anyone's ever asked me that one. That's a good question.
I think I know what it is. It might be Arnold.
Wow, might be Arnold. Let's think. I'll tell you my two favourite films.
Okay.
Because one of them's Arnold. My number one film of all time was in Belfast with a guy called Luke Jackson, who was the 2012 London Olympics boxing captain for Australia.
Yep.
And we flew from Australia to Belfast to film his world title attempt fight. And we entered the arena with 25 screaming, hollering Irish fans. And that was quite scary, but exhilarating and exciting at the same time. There was about 10 of us. Luke and his entourage, and I was one of those, and there was 10 of us versus 25,000 people. We ended up at the ring and we filmed his fight and everything ensuing after and before that, and that was my most memorable video they've ever made. But also filming Arnold Schwarzenegger in Melbourne was very memorable in terms of being up close and personal with the man himself, the most famous man in the world, and it was exhilarating, exciting, but I was very nervous. When I was asked to do that job, I was excited but extremely nervous.
Yeah. So you've obviously done Luke Jackson, so that's a big thing, and you've also done Arnold. So tell me a little bit about Arnold.
Arnold Schwarzenegger is a phenomenal person, and as you could imagine, and he's been in so many memorable films. My thing with Arnold is I think everybody sees Arnold differently. Some people might adore him or like him because he's been the governor of California. Some people, you might know him from Twins, or you might know him from Kindergarten Cop. I know Arnold, and I think of Arnold from Terminator 2. See what I mean by everyone sees Arnold in a different way, and everyone has a kinship and a love for Arnold Schwarzenegger. And when he enters the big auditorium at the Melbourne Convention Centre, he's flooded by people, thousands of people trying to get to him. And he's surrounded by a bubble, and we're inside that bubble. Just myself, Channel 9, Channel 7, and another guy, Gary Phillips. And it's hectic because people just want to see him. Being around Arnold Schwarzenegger's once in a lifetime opportunity. I think he's the biggest megastar in the world. So
Arnold is obviously a celebrity, and he did a lot of bodybuilding and stuff like that. So you did that for a few years. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Arnold Schwarzenegger actually inspired me to do bodybuilding because throughout my teenage years I was drug and alcohol addicted, and I would drink and use drugs through that time. And then when one day I was 19 and a half, maybe close to 20, and Pumping Iron came on the television, and everyone was laughing, and I just sat back and thought, wow, what's that? I don't understand what that is, but I really like it. I like the look of that as a pursuit, and I actually thought of that as a way of getting myself out of that drug and alcohol phase in my life. So I started the next day, and I struggled away in my bedroom with some weights. I was doing weights in the day and drinking at night. Weights in the day, drinking at night. Obviously the wrong way to do it, but then I learned more and more as I went through magazines. There was no internet then, there was no anything, how to do what we do in the Encyclopedia of Bodybuilding, which I have just behind me on my desk. And then someone in the gym said to me one day, after a couple of years, you'd be great at competition. And I said, oh wow, thank you very much. And then I did my first competition in 2004, didn't do too well, placed fourth, and then the years after that I won Mr. Tasmania and Mr. Australia. And in 2007 I flew to Germany, Nordheim, Germany, and placed fifth at the Mr. Universe competition in Germany.
So you've had an obviously amazing life, and a lot of people look up to you, but who do you look up to?
Tall people.
But who do you look up as an idol?
Who do I look up to? I'll give you a few, not just to name Arnold Schwarzenegger, but definitely Arnold Schwarzenegger is one, because the reason why isn't just because he's famous. A massive reason why I look up to and admire Arnold Schwarzenegger is because of his different pursuits in life. I love the fact that he's not just done movies, he's done politics, he's been a philanthropist, he's helped so many people around the world. He's active in all sports now, not just bodybuilding, and that's the way I'm trying to live my life. You know, I've been a bodybuilder, jiu-jitsu fighter, and I have my jiu-jitsu academy. Also now I'm making films, so that's why I look up to and admire Arnold Schwarzenegger. I also I have a few other obscure ones, and I think some that you might know. I look up to a guy called Casey Neistat, who is, you know, Casey, you've heard of and watched Casey Neistat. Casey Neistat is a filmmaker and has made a great career in filmmaking, and obviously has turned his filmmaking pursuits to YouTube, and has now just recently come back with a new film, because he's moved from New York to LA and now spending more time with his family. One thing which I hope to do too, because I do work a lot. Casey is one of those guys that I emulate, that I like to follow, because I like his style and his work ethic. So I would say Arnold Schwarzenegger and Casey Neistat at this stage.
Last question. You've obviously got your business, Darran Petty Films.
Yes.
So what's the future for Darran Petty?
Well, I've got Darran Petty Films.
Yep.
That, I do social media films, I do documentary style films, I do films of all types for all types of people and businesses.
And
keeps me very busy.
Darran Petty Podcast.
I've got the Darran Petty Podcast, which I've just started, and the first episode's up on my YouTube channel. Head over there, guys, to Darran Petty, give it a like, subscribe, leave a positive comment, and hit the notification bell for
all the good juicy bits. And his channel will be in the description below.
Thank you. So you've got the podcast. You can go over to my channel and watch that. Go over to my channel and watch all the movies I've ever made ever. And also, I'm making a feature film, Saved by the Devil, and I've just recently had a couple of follow-up meetings with my mentor producer, and she's in the process now of helping me. But with the first stages of the setup of the schedule for shooting. So we'll start shooting in December this year, in the first week of school holidays. And obviously, Harrison, you're a big part of that, as you'll be playing my son, because we look alike. And obviously, this is my office, obviously, but downstairs I used to run Trojan Jiu-Jitsu, which is a school for kids, teens and adults learning Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and the art of self-defense. And that's, I keep myself very busy, my man, and I do that because we only got one life, and we have to use every second of it.
So, Darran Petty, thank you so much for coming on my YouTube channel.
My pleasure, brother. It's been an absolute pleasure, and you're an unbelievable interviewer. So guys, please, from me to you, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell for all the
juicy bits,
and leave a positive comment in the comments below, and maybe put a comment down there as to who you'd like to see Harrison interview next.
Exactly. So don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell for all the good juicy bits, and see you on the channel. Bye.